Hey there, it's Laura here from Laura's Creative Pages and Cards. I'm so excited to be showing you how to make this really sweet 2020 Christmas ornament. This one here is showcasing the Serenity Paper Suite and our Bluebell colour of the year. So you're going to need 8 strips of paper cut at 3/4 of an inch by 6 inches. You're going to need 2 really pretty circles cut from a 1 3/4 inch circle, and then 2 white circles cut from 1 1/2 inch circle. You're going to need some foam tape and scissors. A small hole punch is going to be needed, plus a stapler. So all of these tools to put together the ornament. You will need a little icon from a stamp set. I've taken this Sweet Bear from the Jubilee Crew stamp set. Plus you also need 2020 to highlight the year, and I took these ones from the Simple Serif lowercase thin cuts, which is a fabulous thin cut set. Plus you will need to get yourself a boning tool and then some twine to hang the ornament. For his little mask, I just drew it with a journal pen on white cardstock, and you will also need liquid glass. Okay, so let's take these 8 strips of paper, and I actually alternated them as I laid them down on top of each other so that the ornament itself had alternating coloured petals. So just lay all 8 on top of each other. Then you're going to take the top one, and this top one here is going to need to be folded in half, so just so that we can find the center. We simply just need the center of the top one. You're not going to see this fold in the ornament. We are just using it as a guide, and so I can see it clearly, I'm just going to mark it here with my black journal pen just so I can see the center visually really easy. Now you're going to take the 8 strips and you're going to line them all up perfectly on top of each other. And then once they're all lined up, just grab that stapler and the very best you can, just staple in that center. So that center marking was just so I can visually see that center and then pop my staple in there. And then that way all 8 sheets of 8 strips are held together firmly. What we're going to do is work with the first 4 on both the left and the right side of the staple, and I'm going to use the boning tool just to give them a bit of a curl. This just helps in making that petal go get a really nice shape rather than an actual crease or a bend. It helps break the fibers so that they'll actually fold around and make really pretty petals. So we just need to do 4 on each side of the staple. So that's going to be the first half of the ornament. Then I'm going to bring my liquid glass in, and I'm going to use this as I find this is the super glue of craft, and I don't want my ornament to fall apart. So I'm just putting some liquid glass on the very edge, on the end of the first 2 ends, so the first strip, and then I'm going to bend them in and just attach them at the center. So that center point that we marked where the staple is, we just need to bring them into the center and then just hold that in place while it starts to dry. Then I'm going to add more liquid glass now to the next 2 strips, the next single strip, sorry, but it's the next 2 sides. So just running that liquid glass on a thick glob, as you can see, because I don't want it to fall apart. And then I'm going to tuck that in underneath and push it right in, really right into the edge to make the next 2 petals. And this is the process. We're just going to repeat that now for the next 2. We're going to put the liquid glass on each end. Then we're going to lift and tuck them in. So it's a very simple and easy concept. You find you can do this with your children or grandchildren or students. I've done this with students myself that were about 10 years old, and it's amazing how quickly they can actually pick up this this particular project. It's super fun and so easy to do over and over again. And then you could also enlarge it, or you could definitely shrink it. It's just those 8 strips of paper. Right, so that's the first half of it done, and you can see it's taking shape really well. Just going to, rotate it like I just did, and now we're just going to repeat the process on this other side, doing exactly what we just did on the first side. So just creasing all of those strips, breaking those fibers, And then just start the same process, pop the liquid glass on the ends and tuck them in. So I'm just going to quickly go ahead and get that done for you. There we go, and just popping in those last 2 petals. And we've got a beautiful florally looking ornament, and it's so pretty. I love that it's I love the colours in this Serenity paper. Okay, don't be afraid to just get your fingers in there and just sort of manipulate it a little bit until you're happy. I need to just bend that petal out a little bit wider. Okay, it doesn't look much at the moment because you can see all the workings of it, but once we put this beautiful bluebell glittery circle on the center, it really finishes it off. So I'm just going to coat the back of this bluebell circle in liquid glass. I'm very generous with it because I want it to stick forever. Find the center, and then I'm going to press that down. So that liquid glass is going to ooze and stick over each of those petals because it's, you know, we don't have a solid surface that it's sticking to. It's you know, little tiny thin bits of paper it's sticking to. So I'm just pressing that down firmly, and you can push quite firmly. So then I'm just going to repeat the process on the other side and add this second circle. And just press that one down, obviously trying to line it up with the circle that's beneath so that it's symmetrical. Okay, so that is how quickly it's coming together. It's only been a few minutes. Next, what I'm going to do once I feel that's firmly pressed down is I'm going to add the white circle cutouts, die cuts. And as you can see, I stitched with just my black journal pen just to give it a little bit more fun detail. And so I've done that to one, and I will do it to the other one in just a minute. Now, when I'm attaching these, I'm going to attach them with foam tape, as I find foam tape sticks to the glitter paper or cardstock really well. Just normal tape runner adhesive or double-sided tape doesn't stick, it ends up falling off. I find that the 3D foam tape is brilliant, and when you press it on, really press it down firmly to make sure it really grabs and catches that glitter cardstock. Okay, and then just with my journal pen, I just go around and I just give it the stitching detail. I just find that the stitching detail just makes it a little bit more fun and elevates the artwork a little bit. So around she goes. Now that's done, I can stick that onto the other side. So this is a fun project, and I hope that you also have a go at it, and I would love to see what you make and what colours you do and what icon you put in the middle, because it's such a fun idea. Alright, that one there will now pop into the centre of this side. So we've replicated both sides now. We've got the white circle on each side, we've got the glitter bluebell circle on each side, and it's time to attach the icon. So I'm going to just put this little sweet bear in the center. So just a small piece of foam tape again, just elevates the artwork a little bit. But I will point out that when you go to stick this on, make sure that you have a petal directly above his head, because obviously this is where it's going to hang. So if you don't have a petal directly above his head, he's going to hang a little wonky. So make sure you've got that above his head. All right, so he's definitely a cute bear, but we just need him to represent 2020, and it certainly is the year of the mask. So all I did was I just grabbed a scrap piece of white daisy cardstock and my journal pen, and I just drew a little oval to represent the mask and popped 2 little lines in there, and then I coloured it in, and this mask is coloured in with the vintage blue tri-blend marker. So that's all I did to create the mask. You know what, just draw it a couple of times until you're happy with it. It's not a hard shape to draw. So I'm going to just tape that now onto him. It's quite comical that his nose sticks out. I think it's quite funny, but if I cover his nose, I'll cover his eyes. So his nose has to poke out. Once it's on there, then I just want to just draw in, you know, the part of the mask. Oh my gosh, it's just escaped me. But anyway, the laces that go around your ear. So just draw that in just to finish it off so that it really does look like a mask. Perfect. All right, so that side's done. And then just to finish off the other side, we're going to add the 2020. Now this is my smallest numbers I could cut with my thin cuts. So obviously if they were to go straight across, it'd be far too wide. But do you know what? How fun does it look with them overlapping each other anyway? I think it looks really cool. So again, a bit of 3D foam tape. I just place it on the part of the number that's going to be actually attached to the ornament. So I've only got, you know, the tape on just the right hand side of that first two, and then this particular one is going to overlap a little bit, the 0. So I've only put it on half of the 0 because the other half is overlapping over the 2, so I don't want to have any 3D foam tape in that area. I just use just really small pieces. It doesn't need a lot to have it stick on for good, so I love our double-sided 3D foam tape. It is really sticky. So just adding on this next two, and again it's overlapping, so I've only got the foam tape where it's not going to be touching the other numbers. And then last 0 getting ready to go on, and as you can see, a very, very easy and fun project. One you could certainly sit down and do with a bunch of friends or with your children or your grandchildren. Okay then, last thing we need to do now is we just need to thread some twine, and so I'm just squeezing my little hole punch into that top petal, finding the center and punching that hole out, ready to thread some twine. I've just got a little bit of mink twine here, any twine will do, probably not too fine a twine or else it's going to fall back through that hole. So I just fold in half, and then I take the looped half and I poke it through that hole that I've just made. Once I've got it through there, I'm just going to try and grab it. So I'm just going to use my scissors just to poke it out through the petal so that I can grab it. There we go. Now that I've got it, I'm going to pull it through, and I'm just going to tie this end in a double knot. One knot's not quite thicker, you know, knot bulb. I need a double knot so that it's thick enough not to come back through my hole punched hole. So just a double knot like so, and then I'm going to pull it back through. Yep, that's not going to fall through, which is brilliant. And then I'm just going to do a single knot with the other end to make it so that it's a loop, and pull that tight, and then just trim off the excess that's hanging off the top knot. And then I have a little loop to be able to hang this decoration. So there you go, that's the 2020 ornament brought to you by Laura, and I hope you enjoy making yours. Bye!